Yeah, this is where we're doing it.
A little more comfortable there.
Sit on a wallet.
A little more comfortable.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Talks at Google. Today it is my pleasure to welcome the cast of Independence Day Resurgence. We have Bill Pullman, we have Jessie Usher, we have Liam Hemsworth, and we have Jeff Goldblum.
Hello.
Thank you all for being here.
Smiley faces.
Such smiley faces.
Everyone looks so happy.
I'm going to start with Jeff and Bill. What's it like to be back?
Me? Oh, me?
Yeah.
Oh, you were looking at him? Oh, me, I didn't hear. Fantastic. Because of some of the new fantastic people in the cast, besides and some of the returnees. There is Judd Hirsch in the latter category, who still plays my father. There's Charlotte Gainsbourg. Do you know that actress, Charlotte Gainsbourg? Do you know her? Wonderful. She's sort of my love interest. And the themes are more clear, it seems to me, than ever. Strength in cooperative diversity. The foolishness of an arms race and the futility of it, and then the triumph of human ingenuity, intelligence, courage, and science. And it's all funny here and there. What do you think of that? That's why I'm happy to be back. Drive safely. See you later. Thank you. I'll be in the green room.
That's good.
See why I said let him go? That's a torrent of information.
Sorry, I apologize.
That's a Google chip. Yeah, but it's been a really great thing to come back to this movie, and I think having the new energy of another younger generation, we have our children, basically, and as we know, the future we borrow from our children, and so the fight to preserve what we have and to continue as a race is important not just for ourselves, but for the children. And here they are.
I believe the children are our future.
So, speaking of that, I won't call them children, but of the newcomers to this, Liam and Jessie, did you get any valuable advice going into this whole adventure about stepping into this?
Man, it was, for a few times from everyone, I kind of just heard in their own way, everyone kind of told me to just buckle up because it's going to be, a roller coaster. It's going to be a whirlwind, and just be ready for what's to come, to try to understand what Roland tells you when he's directing you as best as you can and just go from there.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't anything specifically that I retained from these two individuals, but just working with them every day was, I didn't have a lot to do with Bill. We had one or two scenes together, but I like him a lot. He's a really great guy, a very nice guy, and I've been a huge fan of him ever since the first one, and Spaceballs was also one of my favorite films. Let's talk about it. No, but I do love both of these people, and it's been a great time working with Jeff. I had a lot of scenes with Jeff, and it's been really fun.
I love you too.
What can you tell us about your characters?
I play a fighter pilot, and my character makes a bad decision early on in this story, and almost gets someone killed. And he's a very impulsive guy, someone who he lost his parents in the first attack, so he's an orphan. And he's kind of waited his whole life for these aliens to come back and make a difference in this situation. And he makes a bad decision and gets his wings clipped and is sent to the moon as punishment. Is kind of forced to work as somewhat of a forklift driver, but on the moon, driving a moon tug, which is not very exciting for a fighter pilot. But that's what my character's doing at this point in the story. And then a lot of other stuff happens after that. The aliens come back, and a bunch of stuff happens. Character has to rise to the situation.
Very well put.
Jessie, what about you? Can you tell us?
My character was introduced in the first film, and then now he is 20 years older. He is Dylan Hiller, the son of Stephen Hiller and Jasmine, which is played by Will Smith and Vivica Fox. So now, my character has come up, and he's sort of following in Dad's footsteps. He's also a fighter pilot. He had a very heated encounter with this young man right here to my left. And it creates a very interesting dynamic between these two characters that kind of just gets worked out throughout the story. And, like it says, a whole lot happens with the, and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Much of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for the subtitles to have to translate that description.
Oh, that's gonna be great.
It's gonna be amazing.
They let me do it. It's gonna be great.
So this movie, the events of the first film are a huge spectacle, and the events surrounding the film and making the film seem to be a huge spectacle as well. And I'd imagine filmmaking itself has changed a lot in the last 20 years. For those of you returning, what was it like to sort of did things change, or was it just sort of like stepping into, easy old role and working with Roland again, or was it a whole new experience?
Well, I was expecting a lot more toys, but and things that you would have never seen before. But when we did the first one, it was kind of old technology. We made a lot of things happen with Roland's visual effects guy was from Germany, and they were using a lot of old style ways of all the fighting things were shot with a diorama that was on hydraulic lifts that would move the desert up the pictures of the desert. So you're in a fighter plane and you're not moving, but the whole big 90 feet is going up and down. This time we go to the largest soundstage in North America in Albuquerque, 48,000 square feet, and you go into this big, huge room, and it's just an empty room with blue walls and blue ceiling. And so that they could put it all in later. And so suddenly the coolest thing you see is a Humvee Jeep that's, coming up the tarmac to a fragment of a plane that's just the door, because that's all you need. They're going to do the rest later. So in a way, it's a little less, but a lot more. What'd you say, Jeff?
It's a little less for us, but later on it looks great.
Yeah.
But for us, it's not at all
For us,
exciting.
and then you walk around, or you're watching the monitors, and they have the instant ability to put in all the background, and they're feeding all the plate shots in there, and suddenly you realize, when they asked me to duck my head is because there's a 70-foot airplane above my head, So in a way, it's more intimate, I found, because it's a lot more like theater. When somebody comes walking up to you, there's not a lot of information visually around them. It's just the person. And for this movie, I think everybody thinks their own movie is the most special movie, but for us that were part of the first one, it was like a family experience. There's a lot of soul in the movie that's a popcorn movie. And I think when Roland went to cast The Next Generation, he looked for people that were not only good actors, but had some soul. So, it's a great thing for the story, I think, to be having that kind of intimacy in the way that you relate to each other. And so all the special effects, actually, that get put in later, don't get in the way of making a human story.
Well put.
Oh, I stopped the show.
Yeah. All right, we're done. Great, thanks, guys. None of you are sort of strangers to that special effects, big blockbuster world, but was there, you've touched on it a little, but was there anything for you guys that you were surprised about filming this, that you were like, I did not think it was going to be this either taxing or physically demanding,
These guys are vets. This was like my first time dealing with a lot of what we did on this set, and I think the day that we kind of went, I don't want to give away too much, but we go to an outer worldly place, and it's almost like a jungle gym that's been covered in like blue paint and like blue tape and stuff. And the activities that took place in that area was way more exhausting than I thought it was. Like I felt like I was training to be a SEAL or like, I don't know, something. It was crazy. Like, and then of course Roland wants to do 500 takes. I was in the best shape of my life by the time we finished that scene. Man. He knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, Roland likes to do a lot of takes. I love Roland. He's a great guy, a really nice guy, and someone who I've been a big fan of for a long time. But does more takes than anyone I've worked with, which is a great thing because for actors you get this huge playground to just try anything you want. And you get the time and the takes to do it in, and because you get the freedom to do that, you really have just you can try anything. And that's what's great about Roland. He really gives you the freedom, and a lot of the time you do 5 or 6 takes and he doesn't actually come up and really give you any direction. So you kind of like, we're doing another one? All right, cool. Any notes? Nah, just do another one. All right, I'll just do it a completely different way, I guess. You kind of give your own direction. But, every now and then if he feels like there's something that's missing, he'll come up and tell you something. But he really gives the actor the freedom to try what they want to do and explore different ideas. And that was what was great about this process.
Or sometimes, you remember that day that we have a scene, I don't want to give it away, but you've talked about it. We're on we go to the moon together, the Earth's moon. We go to the moon, and we're on the moon in this soundstage. We're pretending to be on the moon in these very expensive, as it turns out, moon suits. We're in moon. So you've seen it if you've seen the trailer. You see us in those suits. And so we were doing these takes, that's right, and we would work sometimes 16, 17-hour days. Finally, it's peevish to complain, but, it can feel strenuous sometimes. But I like to get direction, and I would ask you for direction.
Yes.
Remember, he would just say, yeah, do another one. And I would say, hey, you tell me before we do another one, what should I do on this one? I'll do anything you say.
I directed Jeff Goldblum in this film.
Yeah, he was very good.
Directing. So if you think he's a really good actor in this, particularly better than anything else you've seen him, it's because of me.
He pulled that performance out of me.
I did it.
Yeah, I said, Charlotte Gainsbourg is in the thing. He says, turn around and you're supposed to do something. Find a gesture to maybe. He said, this one, turn around and go, like that. I said, okay, watch this. Let's go. Roll it. I'm ready. And action. Okay. Then and we did. Then we did a few more. And then Roland came back. He said, what was that one where you did that? I don't know. I didn't bust him, though. I didn't say, that was his idea.
He didn't. No.
It seems like you guys had a lot of fun going into this. Did you guys do anything in sort of the prep leading up to starting filming to sort of get to know each other, or is it just sort of let's dive in, we're all in this together?
We didn't have a lot of time before this that we shot together. I mean, every project's different, and sometimes you have a lot of time to rehearse things and get to know people. This wasn't one of those. We kind of jumped right into it, I think. But I like I said, I didn't have a lot to do with Bill in this film. But I still love him just as much. I don't want to exclude him in any way. But I worked with Jeff a lot, and we had a great time together. I was, just thrilled to watch someone like Jeff Goldblum and see how he works and how he does things.
Tosh, you're fantastic. He's really fantastic, and this is not just show business. Let me embarrass you, but fantastic. So gifted and sweet, as you can tell.
You're a lovely man.
Oh, thank you.
Bill, my question, I'm going to assume that term limits still apply in the universe this takes place in, so that you are no longer president.
But, when you're... no one calls Bill Clinton ex-president Bill Clinton.
This is true. But does this mean...
President
That's true.
So I'm still President Whitmore.
Yes.
To the world, but I think all of us were really glad that the only pre-shooting thing that I did was with the writers and Roland, and we all did that. It was very unusual for a big blockbuster movie to have, but it's because Roland's position in the industry that he's got a lot of control. So he invites us all because he has no fear. So no actor is going to say something that's going to disrupt the best movie that he wants to make. So we all went in there, and he asked us, what do you think this character is? Or what would juice you up? And and I thought all of us feel like we got a chance to kind of take the characters in a different way. So even though we're coming back, for me, I was the one that had the most intense contact with aliens in the first one, and we mind melded, which I know you do that at Google a lot, but it was hard on me with an alien. And it ended up being a little bit like PTSD, where you function for a while when you're back, and then the symptoms start to come in. By the time 20 years later, I'm an embarrassment and shuttled away and taken care of by my daughter. And so my thing is that I get accused of being paranoid, and because I am having premonitions that they're coming back. And these people don't think so. So So it was an interesting character and very different than the first one.
Jeff, your character was somebody very immersed in technology and sort of at the forefront of it at the time. Do you think, or can you tell us if the events of it either led him to engage more in trying to, keep a lookout, or just kind of abandon ship and be like, I don't want to deal with this anymore. I don't want to, gonna live in a hut in the desert.
Very interesting question. Yeah. And I'm glad you mentioned that about those writers. That's right. That is was a lovely part of this. Felt very creative and independent, filmy or something, or very trusting. And we were able to make a contribution. I had long meetings with Nick Wright and James A. Woods, the other James A. Woods. But they're both actors also, and they act parts in the movie. You'll see them in the movie. But anyway, those were wonderful sessions with the writers. My character. Is asked to and takes on the task of being in a leadership position for the Earth space defense in case they come back, and so technology is what I know, and I have a lot to do with rebuilding. Over these 20 years, much was destroyed, many people were lost, but also in building weaponry. And war strategies that might anticipate what we could be faced with if and when they come back. So even though you're right, it's not what I imagined myself, David Levinson, doing. I was a person not of self-glory or spotlight or war. I think my character probably would have been environmental, very green in one way or another, and anti-war. But the events happened as happened 20 years ago, and here I am in this position. And that kind of tees up and sets up what's about to happen when, it's probably no surprise, they do come back.
Spoiler alert, yeah.
Yeah.
So Jessie and Liam, I'm curious if Jessie, your character sort of exists in the first film. It's not quite a developed character, but were you at all intimidated by the opportunity to kind of create a part of this legacy? I mean, the film is huge. We're having another one. It's like people wanted another one. We're getting another one. It took a little while, but we're getting it.
We made
it. How did you feel going into it?
Ecstatic. I wasn't necessarily intimidated. The way that these guys are so supportive of us, like coming in and being a part of this film, and that was more uplifting, and it gave us, a sense of comfortability. And, we felt like we could bring something new, and they, were very open to any ideas that we had, and Roland and the writers and everybody as well, like they were saying before, that we had these sessions, we would sit down and just talk to them, and they would listen to us, which, it just makes you feel like, okay, you guys have this thing that's on this, pedestal, and you're trusting my opinion with it. So it makes you feel, comfortable. You feel good. So it wasn't necessarily intimidating at all. It was just more of appreciation to be a part of.
Yeah, I mean, coming into the Hunger Games, for instance, right, where you have a huge fan base, which is the equivalent of something like this, where you've already got a huge fan base. As an actor, I don't feel like you worry about the sorts of things like, is it going to be a good movie? I mean, you focus on the work you have to do there, and hopefully you have a great director, someone who can lead the whole cast in the right direction, and I think that takes a lot of the pressure off. And you don't so much think about those sort of things. You get to set and you're doing your job. And for me, I love that part of this world. I love making movies. I love the whole collaboration of people coming together to make something special. And like I said, hopefully you have a great leader that can steer you in the right direction. And you don't need to worry about the sort of, the grander picture of it all.
Would it be fair to say it's more about taking a great role and not worrying about you because you already know it's going to be a great movie, picking based on that?
Yeah, I think, absolutely.
Also, we're going to take audience questions in a second if anyone wants to line up. Mike's back there. My question to you is, if aliens actually came to the universe we live in, what would your reaction be?
Nowhere near what Dylan's reaction was. I mean, he was ready to go. Jessie, personally, I would need to think about it. You know, I need to evaluate the situation. I need to see what's happening. I need to know if they're bigger than I am. And then, you know, we can go from there.
We like that at Google, evaluating the
You got to be smart about these things. You can't just go in,
analysis we're
you know?
a fan of.
I don't know what they know.
That's true. That's true. Anybody else prepared for extraterrestrial contact, or just gonna
Shoot
wing it?
now, ask questions later.
It's a smart way to go.
I think we'll take our first audience question.
All right, this is for everyone. If you could work at Google, what team would you want to work on?
What are the options?
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say too.
I mean, I don't know, search, maps, Chrome, Gmail, Android, self-driving cars. you name it.
I've been, I don't know if this is a rival thing, and I might be saying the wrong thing right here. I've been to the other side of town where the Facebook
Nope.
studios?
Nope.
They got a great outdoor situation. I don't know if it's the same here. I haven't explored this area, but I would love to do any job if it's like Facebook.
This talk is over. Thanks so much for joining us. We have outdoor space too.
Wrong answer.
I don't know. What position do you take part in?
I'm a software engineer on YouTube.
That sounds complicated.
Do you guys have all the really cool cafes and stuff that Facebook has?
There's right out there.
You got that? I'm there. I'll do anything. I'll be a janitor. I'll do anything you want.
So they do YouTube. YouTube is all you guys, right?
It's all us. Yeah.
Wow. Well, I go on the YouTube a lot.
We are delighted to hear that.
I love it. That's one of my preferred learning tools. Ooh, one to another, and then this suggests that, and I'm lost in there for a while. Yeah, I love it.
We are always delighted to hear user stories.
So, Jeff, this one's actually for you.
Yes, ma'am.
So, speaking of YouTube, have you seen the YouTube clips of you making ads where, like, they slow you down really and you just sound really weird and hilarious?
Yes, I have. And it said drunk Jeff Goldblum, right?
Yeah,
Drunk
yeah.
Jeff Goldblum.
So, what do you think of those?
I like him. I like him.
That's perfect. So,
But it's not hard because I'm like drunk anyway. I'm straight. I'm straight as an arrow. I don't drink. But we did this thing, and I was looking on TV yesterday and saw us played back on the NFL. We were outside doing something, and I don't know what got into me. I was listening to the music, and I had the music going on in me, and I looked at it. And I thought, you goofball. Well, you look entirely drunk. And sure enough, people said, "Is he drunk?" Oh yeah, he's on something. So it doesn't take much post-production to make me look like an idiot, you know. And then yes.
so then stemming off of that, you play a lot of really like weird characters like Tim and Eric and Portlandia. Have you ever played one that like just made you feel uncomfortable, like that it was just too strange?
Yeah. Yes.
Define.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Like what? You like what?
Which one?
Well, I mean,
You gave him a big invitation. It's going to take some time.
yeah. I mean, if somebody says, "Oh yeah, you're strange," and we're looking for a strange guy, and here's a part, and we want you to be strange, or do another take and make it really strange and weird. It might, depending on the situation of the character, but mostly I'm like, I don't think you've understood at least what I enjoy about my own imagined what I do. I wouldn't say that I'm strange or weird. But now that I'm hear myself talking, I'm not exactly regular either, am I? Never mind.
You're unique. You don't you do things in a different way, and it's unique, and it comes from the most loving place. You do. It's true. He's a great guy. He's a really great
Sweet.
guy.
Thank you very, very much.
Hi, this is for all of you. If you were in a superhero movie, what character or superpower would you want to have?
I used to say teleportation like instantly, but I don't know. A lot of the new superhero movies kind of make superpowers that I never really thought were that cool seem way cooler these days. So I don't know though. I mean, what do you?
I think the time in my life when I felt most like a superhero, and I'd like to get back to that time, was when you're younger, is when you have most of your levitation dreams. And all of you are probably still having them. but it's a phenomena that you lose it. But one of the greatest thing isn't a very fast action thing, but it's when you just start floating up through the staircase of your house, and then you float through the windows, and you float into the tree that's next to your house. And come on, you've all had that.
Specific.
You're about sneaking out of the house right now?
But it's a very unsexy thing to float. But and I don't know whether I'd make the Marvel superheroes as a floater, but that's what I'd like to do.
The floating man. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi, my question's for Jeff. So growing up, I watched Jurassic Park and had lots of nightmares.
I'm sorry.
So I just wanted to know, like, what are your thoughts on the new Jurassic World, and would Dr. Malcolm ever go back?
I didn't see the new. I haven't seen the new. I know. I'm waiting to see it. I had a baby. We've been working on the movies, 16, 17, and then in the middle of it, on Independence Day, July 4th, I had my first child.
He had his baby on Independence Day.
On Independence Day. Unforced or anything, it just came naturally. So just yesterday was the 4th, right? He was his 7th month birthday. In any case, what was I saying? Oh, yeah, so, no, I haven't seen it. I want to see it. Is it good? Do you love it? I want to go see it. Yeah.
Let's talk about the fact that you had your baby on Independence Day. That's insane.
What about that? I know.
What are the chances of that actually happening?
Well, I'd never been through it before, neither did my wife Emily, and the doctor said, oh, here's the due date, July 4th, and it was but make no mistake, that's kind of a couple of weeks here or there either side. That's what usually happens. But sure enough, midnight happened on the 3rd, turning into the 4th, and she said, I think something's happening. And I had made sure, and the production very generously made sure I was home, back from Albuquerque, and da-da-da. And she started to do the thing. And he popped out, about 6 that morning.
Did Bill make a speech at it? Was it about this day and
this day, yeah.
You will come. You will make
a
it
pep
out
talk,
of there.
if you will.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey guys, this question is also for Jeff.
What?
Sorry,
All my family.
this is on behalf of a couple of friends, Steve and Gary, that they asked the question: if you could get the whole cast of Buckaroo Banzai back together, would there be a part 2 and perhaps another dimension?
Thank you. Well, 8 Dimensions was the one in that. I have a fondness for that movie, and I know there's some devoted followers to it. They had some ideas about it, and anyway, yes, I would. Peter Weller, I've stayed in touch with. He started the band that I'm in. Jesus, what happened? I'm getting too excited. I'm in a band called the Mildred Snitzer Orchestra. If you come down to L.A., we're at Rockwell every Wednesday. But he started that band. We started it together. Anyway, yeah, if we got together, maybe we'd make another one of those. You like that? You like that movie?
I'm going to watch it now.
You've never seen it? Oh, this is just Steve and Gary talking through. Okay. Well, tell them hi. Tell them hi.
All right. Hey, guys. I'm going to bring us back to Independence Day. As much as I love you, Jeff Goldblum, and this question actually comes from a big fan of yours. She has a shirt with your face on it that's also shirtless, which is very interesting. But my question for each of you is, if you were stranded on an alien planet, which of your castmates would you bring with you and why?
From this movie.
Okay, wait, I have a follow-up question. Is it the character, or is it like
It's the real,
the real person?
Yeah.
Okay, like present time, because Liam has an injured back. So like that's
I'm disabled right now.
he's disabled
That's why
right
I'm
now.
fidgeting so much. I wanted to tell everyone before I sat down that if I move a lot, it's because of my back. I got a pretty serious back injury right now, and that's why I'm moving. We don't need to talk about it. Let's move on. It's boring.
But you did it because
Part
you're
of my
rugged.
life.
You're rugged. You were surfing. Extreme. He's an extreme sportsman, and you were doing extreme.
I hurt my back. I'm like an old man with a disabled back.
It's okay.
So don't bring me to that planet, because I'm not going to do anything.
But you could bring Brent Spiner then,
Yes,
who
yes.
would be a good kind of smart guy to
He'd
take
be
care of your
a
back.
great person to bring, because he's really, really smart. Can probably figure out
Desert planet.
No,
wherever you are.
like an alien planet.
Yeah.
Alien planet.
Uncharted territory. We really like aliens here, apparently.
I don't know.
Brent Spiner would be a great person to bring.
Well, yeah, I mean, if there were scientific challenges and environmental challenges, you'd want somebody that could help you last a day or two. But if there aren't, then we're just talking about the dirty game, who would you rather? Then it's, and I can't play that. I'm not allowed to play
Better
that.
conversationalist.
In public. Who would you rather be on a desert island with? Come on. I can think of some, but I'm not saying.
Hi. So Independence Day has, I guess, a strong sci-fi component. There have been a lot of sci-fi movies coming out lately. So just wondering if sort of anything in the film jumped out as you in terms of being like creative or novel around how like the aliens or the alien technology or just the human relationship with the aliens were portrayed.
It's a very interesting question.
Always by me.
Yeah, I think it is. That's really interesting. Yeah, what's original and fresh about the, it's a very wide open issue, and probably we can't, so there are some interesting, fresh, unexpected things about how we relate to them, about stuff we find out about who they were 20 years ago. We get revelations about what they were up to, who they were, where they're from, but that's all we can say. We probably shouldn't tell you. You'll see the movie and you'll see. All
right. Very intriguing. I was going to see it anyway, but now I'm really compelled. So.
Yeah.
Cliffhanger. Right. Thank you.
Yeah. It's an interesting question. I think, we were just talking about it, I think one could could infer from the visitation that we find out things about them and then these current visitors that shed light on our own situation and identities and ignorances and things we need to work on. What do you think about that? Almost like a Jungian dream, I can say no more.
Actually, that's a good segue to my question. I was just wondering if while you're filming or after the movie has been made, if Independence Day permeates into your dreams or aliens infiltrate your sleep time.
No, I think for me, when we were doing the film, we spent so many hours doing the film that now the sleep is like, it's so deep. We're making up on the hours that we lost, so that I don't think anything is infiltrating my dreams at this point. It's just out cold, and I don't think I've had a dream about an alien since we've left. We saw enough of that.
I would say the complete opposite. I have horrific nightmares often, and during this filming, I had terrible nightmares, particularly about you and I running from aliens. I swear to God, I'm not kidding. I honestly, I have night terrors, and it's something that I should probably see a doctor about, but I get sleep paralysis. I wake up and I can't breathe sometimes. Me and Jeff are running from aliens. It's all kinds of stuff in my dreams. I think I have serious problems and I should see someone about it. That's the honest truth.
No, those aren't problems. No, we know about dreams that they give you a chance, some people think, to live out and siphon off and, hidden dogs in the basement, psychologically. So they come to some kind of conscious light and the opportunities to see how they're useful,
Yeah, I think because we've been talking about how sometimes, these movies are about empirical, chronological, gathering information. It's, where sometimes in, dream mythology is to culture like dreams are to the psyche. And there's certain things that get healed and or exposed in dreams that we can't deal with empirically. So some of the best stuff, I think, in science fiction is stuff that really tricks that, to that level of dream awareness, so that, probably everybody in a dream is some version of yourself, and there's different aspects of aliens that are aspects of ourselves, and sometimes you can only see that in an instant in a dream, and you wake up and you had some knowledge, you can't quite remember what that was. And I hope this movie kind of has that with a little bit, where we were saying that might be a good end result.
I like to be scared by movies. I like the feeling of,
Can't figure it out.
It's nice. And then I dream. I do dream a lot. I have recurring things of all kinds. I'm being chased. I'd have bad dreams.
we'll take our last two questions from the audience.
First of all, thank you so much for coming out here to Google. And by the way, it's my birthday, so I'm taking it as a birthday present.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. So this is for Jeff and Bill. Over the years, had you been presented with any scripts for a type of sequel? And if so, like, what made this one special to you, make you want to be a part of it? And if not, then again, what made it special for you to want to move forward with it?
Right. We weren't presented with sequels to this, alternative sequels to this movie before this script, you mean? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, this is the first time they said, we've been working on it. Dean Devlin is the other creator. They've been cooking it up, and they said, I think we got something. A couple of years ago now, I think we got something that we can show you, talk to you about, and this was the first one, And I was thrilled about it and them and everything.
Yeah, this was always a personal project for Roland. He's done a lot of big movies, but on this one, we all noticed, and many people who work around him said he's working at a different level on this movie. This is really personal for him, and that's partly why the long hours and the many takes. There is some monkey inside him that really wanted, and he did that. He waited 20 years not because they couldn't make a deal or something like that. He never really felt comfortable that he had the script right. And about 4 years ago, he thought he almost had it right, and so we all got, I got the call, hey, the band's getting back together again, and we're going on the road, but it didn't, and then reverse engines. And then he cracked it with about a year ago in November, and in about a 3-week writing session with these two writers. And so that's what started us back on we're going to do it.
I think we'll take our last audience question.
So, Bill, I just wanted to let you know that I really liked you in Sleepless in Seattle. But also, I guess, as the last question, what was the turning point in each of your careers that made you decide to continue with acting and not something else?
Who wants to go first on that one? Turning point.
I once had a conversation with Harrison Ford, sitting on set with him, and I said, did you ever have a point in your career where you questioned what you were doing and why you were doing it? And he looked at me like I was a complete stupid idiot. He's like, no. He goes, Liam, this is the best job on the planet. No, I never had that. I'm like, absolutely, me neither. I'm just kidding. I'm just asking, whatever. It's a great job.
It is. For me, I moved from the East Coast to Los Angeles to pursue acting, and then I guess right around the time that I finished high school and started going to college, I started studying culinary arts, and I fell in love. I mean, I was already in love with culinary arts, but being in the kitchen all the time with these incredible chefs, guys from France and all over the place, and I started to love that more than the acting world, and I kind of got drawn into that. And I think I even had a conversation with the agents and my parents and everybody, and I'm like, all right, guys, we had a good run, but I think this is what I want to do. And they pulled back a lot, and they kind of convinced me to just, take the selective ones. Maybe read something if you really like it, if you feel like it can work, and if it works with your school schedule, then do the audition or, try to do the project. And I booked a show, and the show was incredible. It was a lot of fun. It's called Level Up on Cartoon Network. And I mean, we just had the best time. And every time I would enroll to go back to school, we would get picked up for something else. It started as a movie for television, and then onto a series. So I had to drop out, I think 3 or 4 semesters in a row. And then I kind of just went to the chefs at the school, and I said, look, you guys know this is what I want to do. I was already taking internships and all kinds of stuff. And they're like, yeah. So we made this agreement, when it slows down, I will go back and finish the culinary degree and open the restaurant I've always wanted, and it just hasn't slowed down yet to that point. But that was, I'm turning 24 this year. That was 7 years ago, something like that. And being involved in this industry and getting to do what we do, like it says, it's the best job in the world. And it only takes a little bit of time for you to realize that. It's hard not to love. So I'm very happy with where I am now. Anybody else?
Jeff.
I could say yes. The I admire doubt and the asking, you're so smart and wise, asking, constantly along the way, is this the best use of, life? This precious opportunity? Is this the best use of my energy? I had this idea. I wanted to be an actor since I was in like 5th grade. I saw children's theater, I got this idea, and I just stuck with it. And by the time I was in high school, I was obsessed and would write on the shower. I'd take a shower every morning in high school, and the shower door would get steamy. It was a glass shower, and I would write every day, please, God, let me be an actor. And then I would erase it so nobody saw it. It was just a secret of mine for many years. And then luckily, and I'm still grateful that it's, so I was very passionate about it, and here I'm still thrilled I'm doing it. But I still all the time do try to get clearer about what it was what was that seed, and what is it that I'm trying to accomplish? Is it the best use of my life and time, et cetera, et cetera.
That leaves you.
Well, I think there are times it feels very important to do, and you don't know exactly why. Sometimes I think there has to be, especially if you're starting out and you don't have a lot of easy breaks. You got to tell yourself, is this what I have to do to be healthy? Is what I have to do to stay alive and engaged in the world? And even if I don't get to do everything, what do I do? Will I be all right just going at it, trying to pursue it? And I think of that because, so interesting, you're a child of someone who's also acted. And so, my son has just gotten into it, and he had a lucky thing happen where he got cast in a pilot just the end of last year, and now he did his first movie role last month. It was Scene with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I'm looking at him and wondering, does he have it that, it's like in Macbeth, he says, I'm not without ambition, but without the illness that should attend it. And you have to have a little illness to attend it, I think, because it's a lot of reasons where, we're saying it's a great thing when you get the jobs, but there's many months where you aren't doing the job, and you're wondering why the other guy got the job, and vaguely, and so I think that kind of thing is always a question, but I think the fact that I think I don't really have a choice, that's what makes me keep interested in pursuing it.
I think it's lovely. What you guys have said, I think, applies to anything that somebody's passionate about, and be it software engineering or acting. And if you guys bring half as much hilarity and insightfulness to this movie as you did this conversation, I think we're all going to have an amazing time. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Let's give them a round of applause.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Dina.